What is up, YouTube? Hope you guys are all freaking doing well. Jaden here, back for another video. There we go. That is a proper damn intro. I feel like I'm already back in uni, even though that is not the case. If you can tell though, you might not be able to, but we were about, close to 10, 11, no, 9 hours earlier getting to the gym than we were yesterday. It is only just about 6:23 in the a.m. Been too long since I've said that, and it is August 6th, a Wednesday. Some people get struck hard by the Wednesday middle of the day, middle of the week feels. I don't mind it much. Wednesday to me right now just means a bit of a full body B workouts, chest and legs push were completed yesterday, so today is going to be back and pull primarily. That means hamstrings, posterior chain, the tad of pushing movements that we didn't get to, namely triceps and overhead press. Besides that, though, I am freaking pumped. Woke up this morning 163 point something at 5 a.m. And so, went to bed. Probably didn't fall asleep until like 11. Sleep is not quite there yet, but we're back to a normal routine, and that is the 99%, at least for me, for my mental. And so I am happy to be freaking getting up early, even if it means I'm a little bit behind on the sleep. But, one thing that's kind of bolstering my confidence a bit, in fact, I'm going to walk through the park because it's much more beautiful, but one thing I kind of looked at yesterday is that, indigenous populations, which I like to kind of, reference for a lot of things, just because, I love that good old ancestral living. But indigenous populations don't often sleep more than 5.7 to 7.1 hours per night. It's a direct quote from ChatGPT. But that means that when you're getting, 6-7 hours a night, and you're like, oh man, I'm ruining my gains, maybe it's affecting it a bit. But hey, if our ancestors didn't get too much more than that, I don't think you need to worry too much. But don't quote me on that, please. But anyway, whatever. I still feel strong enough to lift. Meal number 1 has already been freaking demolished. A bit of brown rice and eggs, 3 eggs down the hatch, nice and easy. We're officially back in a routine to the T. Currently eating about a pound, 462 grams of brown rice a day, split into 5 meals. Quite a big bolus, as you can imagine. It's 11 servings. And then the Goya rice, for some reason the servings for Goya are a bit smaller, so whatever. But anyway, the eggs, 3 Eggland's Best. I gotta say, I know I'm not usually a proponent of like supermarket mass eggs, but guys, I was just in Vermont. Beautiful, beautiful scenery there, and beautiful, beautiful farmers and farm hens, right? Amazing eggs. You can get farm-raised eggs there for like $4 a dozen, which is insane. Here, a bit more, paid about $5.56. However, the quality of these eggs, man, I cracked it open, it looked like freaking the sunrise. These things were bright. About on par with some farm-raised eggs I've seen. Taste-wise, not quite there, but color was there, so I guess take that for what you will. Maybe I'm just not tasting too well this morning, it's possible. But assuming that the color is indicative, man, these eggs, if you flip it around nutritionally, Eggland's Best claims each egg has like 5 micrograms or milligrams or whatever of vitamin E. I think it's micrograms. That's insane. That is about, for reference, 35% of your daily. I mean, you're supposed to get like 15 a day. Dude, you knock back 3 of those, you're already freaking there. It's crazy. So I don't know what's up with that, but Eggland knows what they're doing, I guess. And then they also have a fuck ton of, they claim 125 milligrams of omega-3 per egg, which is not freaking bad. I mean, 3 of those, and you're at like the minimum the FDA recommends. Obviously, meaning like 2 servings of fatty salmon right now. Each one is like 1.4 milligrams of omega-3, which is crazy, but loving it. And so, I don't need that. Look at that beautiful tree. Awesome. But I don't need the eggs to add it on. But hey, good enough for me. So, actually, yesterday was like all salmon. I didn't have time to make any other meat. But speaking of meat, I have 5 beef hearts and 3 pounds of 73.27 beef coming today through meat delivery. I'm not going to leak the site because it's freaking awesome prices, but if you're anyone that's trying to find cheap meat, DM me. I'll give you the hook. But anyway, interestingly, you heard probably just now 73.27 beef. You're like, dude, what the hell are you doing? This looks like 340 calories per freaking 4 ounce, 30 grams of fat. Well, here's the reasoning, right? Found a research paper by Love and Proust, 1992. It was a research study done basically in like the University of Iowa or something, and they were trying to figure out, okay, we want to feed these kids nutritionally dense food, but beef is really expensive. So how do we get around that, right? So what they found is if you take like 73.27 and then you pan fry it. First of all, they did a study. First of all, they just pan fried the beef, right? So it's 73.27 pan fried and then blotted with paper towel. They found if you do that, you can turn 80/20 and 73.27. Similarly, like funny enough, they're both the same, right? They compared those two fattier beef cuts to 93.7. Found if you blot it with paper towel afterwards, you reduce the fat in 80/20 and both 73.27 to just 11 grams per serving. The 90/10 or whatever, 93.7 only goes down to 9. And so proportionally you remove way more fat. And then if you do the, a strainer method, right? So you take that ground beef that you blotted, put it in a strainer, run warm water through it, and then let that sit. I guess turn off the water and let it sit for 5 minutes. You remove an additional like 5 grams. And so you can turn 73.27 beef and 80/20 beef, 80/20 which has like 20 grams per serving of fat, and 73.27 which has like 30. You can reduce those to 4 grams of fat per serving, which is equivalent to I think like 97.3 beef. And then if you do with the 93.7, you go from like 9 grams per serving to like 3. It's insane. I mean, the other thing is like, oh well, what about the dry yield weight, right? I mean, that's what I would think too. They said the dry yield weight in a separate Canadian study that on basically an equivalent fatty cut only dropped 4%. I think it was 4.2% less than the lean beef. So we're talking like, I think 63 grams in the 73.27 was actual yield weight. And then in the, 10% or even leaner beef, it was like 69 grams, 67 grams or something. And so barely less for like half the price, if not even more. And so I thought, you know what, why not freaking try it out? I bought 73.27 beef. We'll do the freaking strainer, blotting, run the water through it, and then see what the, final weight comes out at. And then also kind of do like a finger test, put it in the fridge, see how much fat actually forms on it. And then that'll give me a pretty good idea. Because I've cooked a lot and stored a lot of really lean beef, so I'll know, kind of looking at that, is it actually that lean? Who knows? Apparently even leaner if you do all the steps correctly. So guys, if this is true, I'll have to make a video on it because that will save people tons of money. Is it grass-fed? No, but I do think in terms of price, if you're going to get a fat to cut, like you're not going to get just straight up chicken tenderloins, you're better off doing that with cheap beef, than you are with cheap chicken or cheap poultry. The reason being, cheap chicken or cheap poultry is going to have a way higher, or even cheap pork, a way higher omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acid content, which will throw off your internal omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, which is really important for a lot of things hormonally and performance-wise. And so, and that's because they feed them a lot of soy feed, and because these are poultry and pigs, rather, they don't have 4 stomachs, they can't process all that stuff out as much, and so it actually gets stored more directly in the fat as opposed to like a cow or a ruminant animal with 4 stomachs, where what they eat has a bit less of an impact on their final fat type content. It's mostly saturated, a bit of monosaturated and a bit of polysaturated, but way less polysaturated than these other animals, and so less omega-6 as a result. But anyway, a bit too much science. Maybe I'll make a separate video on that or a blog post. I'm working on getting a website up. But I'm going to end this here. I think I've been yapping for so freaking long. So I'll see you guys inside, though, in a second. Well, for me, about an hour, probably walking, maybe 45 minutes. Then we'll get this freaking workout on the road. Excited. Hopefully less packed than yesterday. It is about, again, 9 hours earlier. So maybe we'll beat the freaking heat. We'll see. Catch you guys there. Alright, so set number 1 here. We have a little bit of machine pull downs and hopefully 160. Hopefully for more than 6. I haven't done this in a while, so we'll have to see. But get this out of this, set of tries, set of rows. Maybe not in that order because I do want to try to get the machine pretty proud even at 7 a.m. But yeah, quad, adductor, and we'll be almost freaking done after that. So I'll just take it as it goes. I know what I need to hit so we can get started. Right. That's good. That you can see under the machine. Alright, I think this is going to be a bit of a higher rep set, but 85. See, it's in the highest position. I like to start in a big stretch. He doesn't have a freaking drill, right? And then, yeah, after this, we'll transition to something else. This is the major pushing compound for today. So, get this out of the way, we'll do the pulling movement around way. Okay. Oh, 7.5, 8. That's good. Switch it up. Alright, this should be good. Bit of a lattice row. Horizontal row, you know, I like to get one of those in as well with the vertical movement. So, vertical movement's done. Horizontal row, 160. Might be a bit heavy, but that's fine. So I can get it done. I wish they had like a machine T-bar here, but I don't think they do. Any T-bar is always amazing. But we'll have to wait for the community for that. That would be nice. Okay, let's get it. This side 9.5, maybe 10. I'll have to watch it back, but let's go still leg extension. We'll move on. Alright, bit of leg extension. The seat's already all the way back, so maybe someone vision for the drill. But still warm up real quick, and then we'll go into a working set. I think I have a month somewhere what I hit with this last, but I just feel it out. Make sure this is all the way forward. Yep. And this can probably even something like that. Oh, yeah. That'd be a full stack. Soon, probably. Fill up with this thing, 220. Let's get it done. Okay. Well, that's a solid 8. Oh my gosh. Alright. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do leg extension because I did do hack squat yesterday, but I think I might go in the future and switch out ham and hack. We did ham yesterday, actually. We did. Oh, sorry, ham leg extension, but whatever. Let's move on. That was good. Single arm by the ball, if you want to call it that. Single arm extension. So there's no double attachment here for some reason. So if we do this, no problem with it. It's freaking fine. I actually enjoy it. So it's also a bit easier to standardize, to be honest. So 22.5. Let's get it. Okay, this is a solid 7. Take a second, I like to take 10 or 15 at least. Just let this arm, recover a little bit so I can do the other arm. Even though we didn't hit it, but that's probably enough. Let's see if we can match reps. I think that was 8, right? So maybe a 7, whatever. A bit of failure on this now. If I did one too many. Boo-hoo. Okay, I think we only did 7. I know there's some stuff there. Alright, let's switch it up. Solid. Rear delt here. I'm not gonna waste too much time warming up just because this is the 3rd back set, so it should be warm by now. That's just not gonna happen. Hit on 100, see how this feels. Solid. Thinking 130. Let's get it. Okay. 4.5. It's heavier than I remember. I've solved this. Only have 2 more sets. Finish it up. All right, I was gonna do some like weird new thing on like double ab bench machine and realize you have to move the legs and upper body at the same time. It was like so weird. So I was like, you know what, fuck that. Let's just do the good old freaking lying abdominal crunch machine. I did this a while back and I liked it. So 95 might be a bit heavy. We'll try and get some good stretch, good reps in here. And freaking yeah, hit it off. Now that I said that, actually, I think I'm gonna lower it to 80. That'll be good. Let's get it. I know, so I do think I'm gonna go back to leg raises though, because man, I saw some damn improvement in my lower abs just for doing that for the past week, 2 weeks. So I am gonna go back and do that, but we're right here. Why not just finish dry? Wasn't bad. So let's finish up with one to the attitude. We'll be out of here. All right, final set here. Let's get it. I think 220 might be a bit light. Let's do 385. Solve 13. Let's go pace down. Oh man. Alright. Workout has been successfully completed. Time for the little pose down, like we always do. So basically, more or less a pull workout with some push in there. You can call it adductor push, I guess, as well. And obviously tries and overhead press. I think going forward, I'm going to try and consolidate it a bit better. So like one day's more like all pull, one day's more all push, just because then there's like less overlap on the days. So I don't know. It's kind of more complicated than just doing like upper lower, but who knows? Maybe hitting full body like this is better for muscle retention because even on the lower days, you're not really hitting upper if you're doing an upper low split. I don't know, but whatever. Doing what we're doing right now, as long as you're getting the weekly volume of 3 to 4 sets like every other day, as in like one hard set every other day, you're not gonna be losing muscle. You're gonna be gaining muscle, at least in my opinion. So let's freaking pose down. I'm gonna put this down. Let's freaking get some poses done. All right, enough of that. That was a freaking good pose down. I think officially we're nearing somewhat where we were before the start of summer. Starting to really lean out a bit more in the abs, way less water retention, and I think we're filling back in at least a bit. I do want to get back to like major compounds and actually be able to track and progressively overload them. Might need to wait a bit until we get back to uni, just because then I'll have like a consistent set of exercises and stuff. But you know, either way, we're making progress, and as soon as I get my sleep dialed in, it's gonna be a whole lot less bloated. Sleep in water and electrolytes and all that. So that's it. That's about it. Thank you guys for checking in like usual. You guys know the freaking drill. Stay lean, stay huge, stay hungry. Jaden out. Catch you guys next time for another episode of Gains and Glory. Peace. Oh yeah.